Oh, we're live. There we go. I forget how the buttons work sometimes.
Cool.
That's they do it in real studios as well. They go like 3, 2. Oh shit.
Oh shit. Oh, we're live as we're going live.
Yeah.
That's how it happens.
Oh, we've gone live. What have we done?
That is how
We've
it
gone.
happens.
Let's make sure that all of us are being heard on the
We don't
on the Twitch
need
chat, shall
we?
we?
Don't need it.
We're all good on the Twitch chat. We're all good here. Everyone can hear us.
Is this true?
Yeah.
Whoa,
I can
true?
hear you guys. Okay, cool.
That was that true? Yeah.
All right,
You
cool.
go,
I'm gonna
big
pause
guy.
that so I don't have to hear my obnoxious voice.
Don't.
Hello and welcome to the Pixel Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ethan.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's me, Ethan, your favorite
Ethan and I-
podcaster.
Ethan and I. Wait, hey.
That's right.
That-
I'm
that's
taking
not-
the crown.
This is like
That's
that episode of Rocko's Modern Life where they make the show.
former favorite podcaster Ricardo. How do you
Yeah.
feel about this?
I
your
am
title.
the cheese. I am the most popular character on the show. That's what I say.
What about
I
you, Matt?
say-
How do you feel being?
How do you feel about us matching shirts today? Like
Yeah,
almost,
we
not
got,
not
like,
really.
I'm not
You have a
really.
much
You two
denser,
are-
Yes, that's what I was talking about. So me and
Yeah,
Ethan.
yours have salt. Yours are more.
This is probably one of the softest polo shirts I've owned. You know, it's pretty nice. It's
This is a
nice
very
to
this is a
wear.
very comfy shirt.
But it's very short.
My
I have a
shirt
long
is not
torso, and it
comfortable.
shows
This is
my
from-
midriff off.
This is from Uniqlo.
Nico's good.
Uniqlo, it's very nice.
Is it an
Very
Arism?
This is not one of the Arisms. I have one of those, but not
Are they
this
good?
one.
Are they worth it?
They're-
I think it's just marketing gimmick.
I mean, it is a marketing gimmick because like you've had material like that before. I can guarantee it.
No.
It's really nice in their boxers.
I have some
That's-
of their boxers. They're pretty alright.
The Arism on the boxers is good. The shirt is weird. It's like it kind of feels like a workout shirt, but not quite. It's
Okay.
it's like made out of the workout shirt
Okay.
material, but it's not like got the holes in it.
Yeah. It doesn't look like
as
athletic
thick,
wear.
It's like as thick as a normal shirt, but it feels like a workout one.
Okay.
So it's not bad, and it definitely is lighter. Like if you're like, oh,
But
it's hot
it's
today,
not
I'll wear
like,
this.
oh man, you gotta get it.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
it doesn't.
oh, this is cool.
It also kind of clings to your skin. It kind of feels dry.
Oh,
in
I
a
don't
weird
like that.
way.
You turn me off. I don't want
So-
it anymore.
Like a workout shirt does. It kind of so.
Yeah.
But it's not bad on a hot day. If I'm gonna be sitting in a chair and get my back all sweaty,
Like now.
yeah, like right now, which I'm not wearing it, but like, then I would wear that shirt because it's pretty good for that. Good for planes. I took it on the plane when I traveled for like 15 hours in one day or whatever it was.
That's a good
So-
call.
When you
Yeah,
got when
it
you
worked well
travel,
there,
you
too.
gotta. Fashion goes out the window. Although these are very nice looking shirts, but like I'm thinking already about the drive up to Vegas, and I'm like, I'm wearing like basketball shorts.
We fly in business class.
Really?
Thanks to
Oh, was
thanks
that
to
last
Delta.
year?
Thanks to Delta kicking me off my flight last year.
I'm almost thinking
This
about
year I
flying
fly
there.
business class
But
You're
we'll
thinking
see.
about flying?
We'll
for my
see.
hour for our hour and a half
Delay.
flight. Like it's like not even
Yeah.
the thing, but like.
Mhm.
It's like a weird thing of like, I think in a straight line we're not that much further away from Vegas than you guys are, like a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
But because of the road structure, it's like way longer. It's like a 5-hour, 6-hour
'cause
drive,
there's no, like,
as
direct
opposed to like a 2-3 hour drive for you guys. Like,
It's a 5-hour
So-
drive for us.
I mean,
What?
it
is it 5?
it could be. I feel like it could be like 3 hours if you just jet and have like 0 stops.
I have no sense of
But it usually takes
time, I
about
guess.
5 hours.
Maybe it's longer. It's definitely longer.
I'm not doubting you, but yeah, this is about 4 hours.
Yeah, about 4 hours.
Okay,
with no
then it's
traffic.
like 6 hours, I think, 7 hours to get to Vegas.
But you gotta drive 90 miles per hour.
Well, then you're gonna see some serious shit
Yeah, exactly.
from the cops when they pull you over
Yeah.
and be like, "What the hell?" are
That
you
doesn't
doing?
happen, except we have a friend that it happens.
Oh yeah. Oh, it did happen.
It doesn't happen.
It is like
except
it is
for
like a
when it does.
9-hour ride from San Francisco.
Ugh, yucky.
So yeah, don't
Yeah.
don't do that. Just
Yuckies.
fly.
No, I fly.
4 hours is like max. It's like that's fine.
Flying is good too, because then I can be like, "Oh, sorry guys, I can't get booze. You guys will just have to bring it."
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
But
Yeah.
There's
I'll
no
pay.
booze to buy at Vegas.
Nah, I'll pay you back. It's
Yeah.
way cheaper, dude. You look.
Go to the Walgreens or the
Mr.
Walgreens.
Save it.
No, go to the
Mr. Save
Walgreens.
a dollar.
Just go to the
CVS
Walgreens.
in Vegas.
It's all the
It's
same.
not that much. Yeah.
Anyway, enough about
We're
Vegas.
getting off
I want
topic.
good-
Vegas is
I want
still
good stuff.
2
I
months
don't
away.
want Coors Light from Walgreens. I want
Yeah,
like
you
a
do.
decent stuff.
You want it.
I want more watermelon. Hell or High watermelon is what I want.
There was some of that on sale at Bevmo when we bought these. When I bought these Longboard beers.
The Kona Brewing
Kona
Company.
beers.
Oh yeah,
Variety
Good Brewing Company's
pack.
good.
Yeah, solid variety pack.
It is summer now. I feel like it's definitely time for like light, refreshing beers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't have beer talk in a while, but that's our only beer talk that we're
Indeed.
gonna have.
Do you have beer, Matt?
I have a Moscow Mule.
Oh, okay.
That is almost,
That's
it's
pretty
almost
refreshing.
empty. I've almost had it. Yeah.
I think you got the copper mug and everything.
Yeah, we got these as a I think it's a wedding gift actually. And then I've got some whiskey
Oh, just gonna
that I had.
should
This
shoot
is a
that
stock.
back.
Just
This is some bourbon actually, which is a whiskey, but
just mixing alcohols on a Tuesday night.
yeah.
Let's get crazy.
I mean, it's in the title, right? I can't remember.
Yep,
We
it's in the
actually it's in the title. Time to start drinking.
The
It's
pizza
been a
and
day.
strawberries all day,
It's-
every day.
It's been a fucking day, all right.
Yeah.
Strawberritas. I've actually never had a strawberry
I
or a
actually have either. I
limerita
don't
or
think I
any of
have
those
either.
kind of aritas.
But I mean,
I've had a margarita. That's all I've had.
You know when I first started drinking,
Yeah.
No, I
know
don't. 'cause
better.
you were older than me.
it was like a lot of Smirnoff Ice.
Oh, God.
I mean, that was Ethan for a while. It wasn't Smirnoff Ice, but like we're
Yeah,
like
I liked
I'll
like
take
the
a
fruity, like
drink.
this doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
but it
Yeah.
still gets you freaked up.
Yep. Or I'll take a shot and be like, oh, I need a chaser. Blah. And now I'm like, now I take a shot and I'm like, oh, I need a chaser. Blah. But you know, some things never change.
Just
Yeah.
like
But I
That's
just
why
don't take shots
that's why I drink Bacardi 151 shots every day. Never
yeah,
change.
Never forget that time you did that. I don't know.
And hey, no chaser after that.
That was a learning experience of like, hey, I saw Matt do that. It has literal fire on the back. It says, dude, like, this is flammable. Let's not do that. R.I.P. 151. They no longer make.
Yeah, I wonder
Alright.
why. I can't think why.
Well, I think they still have stuff like it though. Like I think.
No,
it's
of course,
for some
like,
reason they just stopped
This
that.
is, they don't call it that. They don't put a picture of fire on the back.
that
It's not-
thing, you put it in ice and it just immediately melts the ice.
It's too hot. All right.
It's like it actually like, sticks all the ice together. The alcohol just like.
Cool.
All right. Well, I can tell from Ethan's tone that he wants to get down to business.
Oh yeah, let's talk about some video games. We've been drinking beers. We've got some video games to talk about.
We do have some video games to talk about, and let's see. What should we get into first? Ricardo. I want to know
What's up?
I want to know what Power Rangers Legacy Wars even is.
You don't know what Power Rangers Legacy Wars is? Well,
No,
that's
Oh,
because
that's why I'm
it
asking.
is a mobile game.
That's
Oh.
right. That's exactly what I thought
That
it was.
explains
Okay.
my lack of
So-
All
care.
right. So anyway, moving on.
So,
But Ethan, you played BattleTech?
Yeah.
So mobile games, there's like a handful of fighting games that are on mobile now, like Marvel Contest of Champions, obviously the Injustice games, and
Right.
a couple other stuff. And so this one, Power Rangers Legacy Wars, I actually looked into it because it is
Power Rangers.
well, it's Power Rangers, but also now it has Street Fighter characters in it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Justin Wong got invited to like an event, obviously, and was promoting it, and so I was like, you know what? Let me see what is going on with this thing. So, Power Rangers Legacy Wars is a mobile fighting game where essentially you play as one of many various Power Rangers characters, like basically any of the Rangers from any of the seasons. What's up?
Can you play as Putty Man?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And also, villains from various seasons.
Rita Repulsa?
Yes, you can play as Goldar.
Okay.
Is it as good as that one Power Rangers fighting game for the Super Nintendo?
No, it's not. But that's because that game is dope. The Zord fighting game.
This game is really okay.
This game is fine. So basically, you play as one character. You have one character as your lead, the one you're fighting with, and then you have 2 assist characters. And what I kind of like about this game, as opposed to something like Marvel Contest of Champions or even like Injustice or whatever, is that instead of making your moves tied to various taps and swipes, so you're just kind of always like mashing on the screen to like do different stuff, and there is a rhythm to it, but even still at the end you can kind of get through most opponents by just tapping. In in Power Rangers Legacy Wars, it is kind of like a weird like deck building game almost, and kind of like that game that ended up getting canceled, Rising Thunder.
Oh yes, that one.
That your moves are all tied to cards that come out, and you have 3 cards available at any given time, and they're broken into 3 different varieties. There's striking moves, which are like fast, but they can be blocked by defense cards, and then those can be broken through with I think it's power cards, and like basically, depending on what character you have and what 2 assists you have, that builds your deck, and you'll have 3 cards available at a time. You expend it with like each one will be worth a certain amount of points. You'll have a meter that constantly goes up, and then you can cash them out by playing the card, like by paying the cards.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like an interesting thing of like, like you can't just spam any kind of move. You kind of have to plan your moves ahead. You have to kind of try to bait out opponents' moves. Like the only movement there is you can dash forward and dash back, and and with the dash you can obviously close distance to attack, or you can get away from the opponent, like to kind of recoup a little bit. And it also dashes through projectiles. So there's kind of like a weird strategy of like trying to bait out certain attacks so that you can block and counter them. Like moves can combo actually really easily if you have enough meter.
Okay.
So like you can like say hit a big power uppercut, launch the guy up, and then play one of your fast striking moves as he comes down, and then you'll juggle him. But then he can break out of that with a defense move, and then he'll kind of take over like the offensive like momentum and stuff. And so it's actually kind of cool. And the thing is it's very simple. There seems to be kind of almost like in a Clash Royale style, like one mode you'll dump into a match, and then depending on the outcome you'll either gain like crowns or like the whatever the experience points is here, and then you'll move up to the next level and face, be put into a pool with better and better players depending on where you're currently ranked. And
so
it
you
is
can't win unless you buy some stuff.
Well, it's also similar to that in that you get every win gets you a certain amount of like chests, and then when you have the chest full, it's like you can't, like if you play, you're not going to get any more chests. But the thing is that the longest amount of time I've had to wait to unlock a chest is 10 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's not like Clash Royale where you're literally waiting for like you're like, okay, I played 3 matches, got my chest, now I can't play for like 5 hours. Like pretty much you're getting back into games pretty quickly after that. So it's a little bit better. It's obviously still has those kind of free to play mechanics, but it seems relatively generous. I haven't seen any of the Street Fighter characters other than they tried to weave it into the story of the very weak story of the Legacy Wars, which is basically that Rita Repulsa has taken control of the Morphin Grid, which is apparently the grid that gives power to all Power Rangers everywhere, and as such has sort of started to take different Power Rangers out of different timelines and like
Of course.
you know, pit them against each other, and obviously
It just
you're
makes
on
it
the
easier
good.
that way.
Basically, you're on the good guys team, and everybody else is on the bad guys team, and you have to defeat Rita Repulsa or whatever. And at some point, though, in her searching through the morphin grid, she happened upon the ghost of M. Bison.
Oh
And
no.
was impressed by his power, and so therefore,
The psycho power.
and so therefore decided to rematerialize him, and
Psychopath.
and so she started pulling characters from his timeline as well, because apparently they are in the same universe somehow. But yeah,
Sure, why not?
it's a fun game. It's a fun little game, a nice little distraction right now. Definitely the most fun and like strategic fighter I've seen on a mobile device right now, and it's
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of those, to be fair.
yeah. But it plays like, again, I think it did well to not necessarily depend on like precision swipes, and more is just like you understand how fighting games work. Like, just utilize your strategy more than anything. What else have you
Cool.
guys been playing?
Speaking of fighting games, I played Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I've heard a lot about that game.
This game is dope. This game is real good.
That's what I've heard.
First off, not good things about it. Single player is not good.
Oh,
Oh,
It's like fine. There's like this story mode type thing where you play as Mario and you can like level up and you
just
upgrade your stat.
Mario?
yeah. There's like
Mario,
there's like
that's it.
RPG elements to it. Yeah.
Kind of. It's like, yeah, after you complete every match, you gain experience points, and when you level up, one of your 3 stats just increases. Like you can't,
Is
you
it
don't get the,
random?
you don't get the, yeah. Like no, I'm sure it's like,
Already locked in.
on this level, this stat increases. On this level, this like that. But like you don't get to choose what the stats are, and it's just like shot speed, movement speed, and shot power. I can't remember exactly which one it is. It's like kind of what you think.
Mhm.
You just play as Mario. There's some cool ideas in it. You definitely like. They have like these encounters that are like you have like normal tennis matches that you'll play, but then you have like these weird levels where like there's like these there's piranha plants in your way. You gotta hit 30 piranha plants to get past this level, and like they'll like keep spawning piranha plants. You don't play on a normal tennis court. There's like these piranha plants in front of you. They're like spitting tennis balls at you, and then you gotta hit them back. And if you hit the piranha plant in the head with it, then they die, and another one will spawn in. You just gotta hit 30 of them. There's stuff like that. It's boss fights. I fought PD Piranha.
Mhm. I've seen that boss fight.
Yeah, so there's like the fighting game stuff really comes in from the fact that there's a super meter in this game that you charge up as you play, and you can use it in a couple different ways. You have like this new dash move called the trick shot, which if you time it right actually gains you meter, but if you time it wrong it will drain meter.
Oh.
And it lets you basically dash. It basically is like the ball is out of your reach move, and you like use the right stick, you flick it in the direction you need to go, and you'll like do an extra dash and like hit it perfectly into the other side of the court.
Okay.
There's if you use it when the ball's coming towards you, it'll slow down time, and so you'll be able to like get in position for shots. And then if the opponent kind of lobs the ball or doesn't hit like a perfect shot in their end, you'll be able to respond with 2 kinds of like ultimate. Basically, if your meter's not all the way full, you will do like this. You'll jump up in the air and like do a pretty powerful shot down the ground, which if they don't time it right on their swing will damage their racket. And then if your meter is full and you do the ultimate super, then you will do like a special move, like the cutscene will play where you're like, doing each character has their own kind of special move. And then if they don't time that shot right, then their racket will shatter completely and they'll be KO'd, which is an instant lose on the match. When you're playing online, you have 2 rackets, I believe, before you are out. But in this single player stuff, there's like 1, and on certain versus matches there's only just 1 because it's just shorter games. So so basically you when someone does that move against you, it's really fast, so you basically have to slow down time, and then like right as the ball is about to hit your character, you hit the hit button, and you'll like block. It'll actually say block on screen, and it won't be a very strong hit, but it will at least stop your racket from breaking, and it will count as a you know, a rebound.
Yeah, I've heard the other alternative is to just get out of the way.
Yeah, just
Sometimes
let
it's
it
not
go.
worth it. We're just taking the point.
So the really strong tactic that people do is that, like, when they're at match point, use that move, because then you either win from them losing their racket or win because they didn't hit it, or they block it. I had a really good rally going online the other day where twice in one rally the guy got all the way to full super and did it twice, and I blocked both times and we were still going.
Oh my gosh.
It's really intense in some of the best ways. Like, I think like a fighting game. The fighting game similarities don't go too much further than that, other than there's like counter moves now, which there probably kind of were before, but they like explicitly spelled it out. So there's 3 kinds of shot. You've got topspin, slice, and power or flat shots is what they call them. So like they're pretty much, those have been in the games before. Like topspin is your standard kind of tennis shot. Slice is like a slower, but like it can curve a little bit, or like kind of stop once it hits the ground a little bit more. And then the power shot, the flat shot is like a really low to the ground shot that is just like a fast moving shot. And if someone hits a topspin at you, you want to counter with a slice. And if someone hits a slice at you, you want to counter with a topspin. And if someone hits a power shot at you, you want to counter with another power shot back at them.
Rock, paper, scissors, baby.
Yeah, kind of. The thing about it is that you don't have to counter with those things, but it's like if someone has a fully charged, like, because just like in the other, have you guys played the Mario Tennis games?
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah,
So if you played them before, you can like charge your shots up. You know, you don't have. It's not just like hit the button. You can like press and hold the button to like build up power. If someone has a fully charged shot like that, it will knock your guy back when you respond. So responding with the correct counter there will stop you from getting knocked back, basically, when that happens. So yeah, there's a couple things like that. Let's see. That's kind of like a similar fighting game type of thing. Other than that, it's not super fighting game-y, other than those kind of like elements. But it's a really good tennis game.
I was to say, it sounds like it's more fighting gamey than the last ones, but still.
Yeah, for sure.
But still, it keeps that kind of same fun that the.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. There's modes too where there's no meter or special moves. So if you want to just play tennis and not have to worry about getting your racket shattered, then you can turn that off. You can so they have like the single player is like I said, it's fine. It kind of teaches you the basics, but unfortunately it doesn't teach you some of that in-depth stuff that I just mentioned. Like you have to go into like the how to play options to like read that, which is kind of a bummer. But the online mode is like where it's really at, because just like playing online quick match is fun. And they have this tournament mode, which is really awesome, which basically is basically just matching you up with random people as well, but in the context of a big tournament bracket. So if you win your first match, then you'll be paired up with somebody else who's on their second match as well.
Oh, that's cool.
And so on until you get to like the top of it. It's like a big bracket too. It might be like a 60-person bracket or something like that. It's like a large one. And then if you get knocked out at any point, then you're just out. But it's not like there's one tournament. It's just like you just earn points based on how far you got in the tournament, and then it goes into your pool. And then if you you can play another tournament to get more points. That's kind of like the ranked equivalent in the game.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you compete in those, then you'll get new characters, which they are unlocking every month or something like that.
That's pretty cool. Like it seems like Nintendo really, I feel like showing from Splatoon 2 and ARMS, like they are really much more into like, hey, if we support these games for a while and actually like put some effort into them, like they can actually grow into something interesting. Even though I don't think most people care about ARMS anymore.
ARMS I think kind of failed in its goal,
although they still keep updating it with stuff. Like they're still putting out updates all the time. And
I'm surprised there wasn't an ARMS character for Smash. I guess it.
Yeah.
I guess it didn't do
I mean,
well.
there's still time.
They said they still haven't announced every character, so
that's
maybe
true.
There'll be a couple surprises.
Who would it be? Springman?
Probably
Springman. I think it'd be cooler. I think it'd be cooler if it was the
oh yeah.
Nin, what's her name? Not Nin. Min Min. Is it Min Min?
Oh,
Min's
Min
really
Min's
cool.
cool.
Min Min's cool. DNA Man sucks. Did you say DNA Man or Helix?
Yeah, Helix.
Helix
Yeah,
sucks,
but he's like the most like
he's
goofy
weird.
character.
The robot lady's neat. She could be cool.
There's a lot
Thick
of
lady.
there's a
It'll
lot
be
of good
spring,
characters.
man. Or
Be thick
Nutella.
lady.
Nutella, man. Yeah. Hit you with your
Twins.
hair.
I like twins.
Why do you like
Yeah.
Nutella?
She's got a
She's
gap in her
got
teeth.
crazy hair.
Yeah, she does have crazy hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That game sounds fun. I really want to get it, but I'm
It's
also
really
kind
good.
of like,
It's-
it's just $60 is a lot of
the
money.
other thing too is that Nintendo's gonna start charging for online soon. So
Yeah, that's true.
then
Well,
yeah, we'll
$100 a
get places-
year, right?
$20 a year, I think, right?
Yeah, $20 a year.
Yeah, it's like relatively cheap compared to other online
Yeah,
services.
but it's still such a weird. It's still like a. It's always
Considering
weird
the
when
amount-
they try to shove the genie back in the bottle, where it's like, we know you've been playing this for free for how long? Like a
Yeah.
year now.
Forever. Like
Well, yeah.
Nintendo's never charged, so. But yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, considering that, like, I've had several matches that have had a lot of lag, I don't think it's using dedicated servers or anything like that. So I think it's just like peer to
Full honor
peer.
method.
So I think it's
until
just like
recently.
I've had some matches where it's like, oh, both players have just not served the ball and just like
Mhm.
moved back and forth for like a good like 10 seconds to try and see if like it's done
Yeah.
stuttering.
The
Um,
equivalent of a fighting game when both guys back off and just like
Yeah.
crouch in the corner and
Yeah.
hope for the lag to like stop, and then
Yeah.
like kind of move and like it's
Yeah,
stopped.
basically. Yeah. Oh, there's another kind of thing you can do too, which is you can do drop shots and lobs. Whereas a drop shot is like really close. You drop the ball really close to the net, basically, so that they have to like run forward to get it. Otherwise, it'll bounce. And the lob is obviously like way over the top. Because a really common tactic that I see online, that I'm currently okay with because I know how to counter it, which is just run up close to the net and then like start hitting the balls like the far left and the far right, like as soon as they come across the line.
Mhm.
Because it's really hard to,
Get
unless you have a
past.
really fast character, your character's gonna be constantly like just diving left and right to try and catch it and never be able to like get up. Because if you were making like a diving shot, it won't be as powerful and it won't have any of like the special like topspin or backspin or anything like that on it. So that's a really common like tactic because it sets people off their guard really quickly. But if you can get a lob over the top, they're screwed. It just like they just can't get the ball. It just goes right over their head and they're just done. So it's actually kind of fun to see people. I had a guy rage quit on me after he tried that 3 times.
And it didn't work. This is
Didn't work.
maybe for some reason I'll play Disc Jam again.
Yeah, this jams.
Yeah, it has a very Windjammers Disc Jam like sensation of like. That's probably the
I
closest
was
real
gonna say
equivalent,
there hasn't been
honestly.
another Mario Tennis game that's been online. I don't think has there.
mean, was
The
the
Wii U
Wii
one
one?
might have
The
been.
Wii one
I don't
might have
actually
been,
know if it
but
was.
the Wii one
That one was
sucked.
bad apparently. Yeah, that one was like so like mediocre that no one
That,
really.
like a lot of people
talked
forget
about
it actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Um.
don't know. You're tempting me, man. You're tempting me.
Also, Wario and Waluigi are 2 of the villains in the story mode, and they just look like they've been wrapped in aluminum foil as their evil versions.
Okay. They have evil versions that they're overtaken by or something.
Yes, the plot is. Let me tell you the plot. There was an ancient desert
Oh yes, ancient.
Egyptian civilization, or not Egyptian, and it was the whole civilization was based around tennis. Fast forward thousands of years, and Mario and his friends are having a tennis tournament at this big event.
Okay.
And then Wario and Waluigi with glowing eyes and skin made of aluminum foil. Or no, it's not even skin made of aluminum. It just looks like they have aluminum foil like on their like you can see their skin still, but they're just like have aluminum foil covering parts
got
of their bodies.
tinsel on them.
Show up with this super evil looking tennis racket, and Luigi touches it, and then like this demon possesses him, and that it's an evil tennis racket that has 5 powerful gems that go inside of it. That when all the gems are in the tennis racket, it'll take over the world with tennis.
Oh my
So
god.
you only tennis can counter it. So you have to go play tennis against everybody.
I don't
And
know.
get
This
the
story
gems.
makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's great.
I
It's
just
great.
love how every
Also,
video game
my
story is like-
favorite part is like you get to like a new person and they're like, "Hey, I can't let you pass unless you beat me in tennis. Then I'll let you pass." And you're like, "All right, it's a good thing I'm
I
Mario
mean,
with my
to be
tennis
fair,
hat,
if the world
with my
was
tennis
like
hat and
this,
shorts on."
like this sounds like the whole world will become like this, and that would be pretty miserable. If it's like, all right, I guess we'll just fight each other in tennis now.
Yeah, there's some great maps. One of them has these magic mirrors that when you shoot the ball into one of the mirrors, it shoots out the other one, and the mirrors like move around in this like in the ghost
Portal.
stage. And then yeah, it's a portal.
Yeah.
There's the worst map in the world, which is this pirate ship map, which has a mast right in the middle of the net.
So it's automatically the best.
Yeah.
No, because here's the problem. Here's the problem. This pirate ship isn't like a normal pirate that just goes around having adventures and digging up buried treasure and nothing else, because that's all the pirates
That's
did.
all pirates. They don't steal.
It's this pirate ship has a mast right in the middle of the tennis court, and so the opponent hits the ball, and you're like, oh, that's going on the left side. I'm gonna go left, and it hits the mast, and it goes on the right side, and you're like, fuck. That's what happens, and that's how I sound.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
That's how you get the rickets.
Yeah, that game's great, and I can't wait to play it with you guys when we get to Evo, because I'm gonna bring the Switch and we'll play it.
I hope we don't beat you.
Also, there's a Wii Tennis mode.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That looks kind of fun. I'll be honest. That looks pretty fun with people.
I feel like we need to have some drinks and play it that way, because I've never even tried that mode.
What character are you playing?
I'm switching it up right now because I'm trying to figure out. I haven't played the Mario Tennis game since the 64 tennis game.
That's the last one I played, actually.
I played 64 and Power Tennis on Game.
I mean, I played Power Tennis at one point, but I never owned it. So like, yeah, I mean, I probably played it, but I played Boo back in the day exclusively. But this one, I'm liking Rosalina. She's also a tricky character who like has a crazy curve shots. And Chain Chomp is just great. Because he just is the cutest little. It's just like this. He just like constantly like looks like he's happy. He has a tennis racket just in his mouth like this, and he's freaking giant. He takes up like half the court, and so you can just like get to every ball because he's just big enough to just like be there. And then when he loses, he falls on his side and just like.
Oh, I failed.
I was a big Luigi and Bowser guy in the day.
I played Waluigi.
Yeah, of course.
Of course I did.
That's his game.
Waluigi's also pretty good. I played as Waluigi and did decently. He's a defensive character in this game.
Oh yeah.
Which means that he has like a really wide reach on his racket, so that it's hard to get balls past him.
I want to try that Spike.
Spike is great. Spike is also good. He serves by shooting the ball out of his mouth.
He's like an old Mario Bros. 3 like bad guy.
Yeah, he's been in like New Super Mario Bros. And like the other games. Like he shoots. He usually spits a big spike ball out of his mouth and then throws it at you. He's a little green guy. Yeah, Google it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I recognize this guy.
But when he serves, he spits the ball out of his mouth and then hits it.
Looks like
and also his racket is like he's holding it with like two hands. It's like as big as he is. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Put Spike and Smash.
Yes.
It's good. It's a good game. Chain Chomp is great too, because when his intro, when he shows up on the map, is just like this giant cage being lowered onto the tennis court, and then he just busts out of it.
He looks so happy. He does look
This is a good game. This is a good game.
Chain Chomp.
Seems like a pretty good game. You know, it's also a good game, Matt.
What?
Battletech. Which is not at all like. And Ricardo leaves the room. He's like, "Oh, mechs? I'm out of here. I don't want to hear about these mechs."
Ricardo races against mechs.
Yeah, he doesn't like mechs.
I love mechs. I'm not sure I love Battletech because like that game seems fun and I think it looks cool, but I also think like, man, there's a lot of things.
Honestly, like I don't think it's that much stuff. Like I don't know what people are freaking out about. Like
I that wasn't like freaking out. Just more so I've seen some video.
I've heard it from people like, there's a lot of stuff going on here and it doesn't explain it to you very well. And yes, it doesn't explain it to you very well, but there's not that much stuff going on. Like after a while, I'm pretty sure I have a pretty good grasp on the basics of how things work, which I don't know, maybe I should explain it to you better about how games work. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, Mario Tennis doesn't do a great job of explaining some of the
that's kind of fun though. It's like going around being like, oh, but this was surprising. Like this character, this gun does this gun does that, and they give little like flavor text of like, hey, this mech is really great at close range. This mech is really great at long range. This mech has barely any armor. You know, they have those sort of things. But then as far as like the best way to equip your mech, here you go. Like they don't really give you a whole lot of explanation exactly what 100% what like hard points do and you know how the armor system works. Anyway, for those who don't know, Battletech is a tactics game based in the MechWarrior universe.
Which is an existing RPG system, I believe,
for a long time. Yeah, Battletech was the way it first started, and that came out like in the 80s, I think. And I know they had like those old. I keep hearing about.
There's like a war game thing.
Yeah,
there's like two. There's multiple things. There's a war game thing, I think, which is BattleTech.
Yeah.
There's also the Mech Warrior, which is like the RPG version of it. I think
so. And then there's
might be totally wrong.
There's also those BattleTech centers that people keep talking about, and like Times Square they used to have, where you go in and actually get like a full like pod you'd sit in and press buttons and control like an actual mech and like really old graphics.
There have been other games for it.
I played the reason I kind of gravitated towards this a little bit more is I played a lot of Mech Warrior 2 as a kid. Despite not understanding that game at all. Like I didn't understand. I was like, why can't I shoot all the guns at once? Well, I didn't understand heat and how it works. So
now you know what heat is.
Yeah, I know how heat works. You gotta dissipate it or else
it rises.
Guns can't fire.
Heat is when you do some stuff that the crowd doesn't like, and they're like, "Boo! I don't like this guy." He's got.
Heat is a movie from the 1990s.
Yep.
Yes.
All that heat stuff. Anyway, so like, it's funny going back to it and playing it now and being like, I kind of recognize that mech. I know what a locust is. Okay, and that looks exactly how I remember it. You know, you get the Timberwolf is like the classic one that everyone that's like on the front of Mech Warrior 2, where it's got the two big old light missile launchers and like the two arms. And so going to this game, you're basically playing like it's sort of a mix between XCOM and a board game. Is the closest thing I can kind of explain it to, because there's no cover per se. You're going around and you're in this like mercenary crew. You set up your main character who you play as on the field.
Okay.
And you set up his backstory or her backstory or they backstory.
So are you saying you're playing as them as in a mech?
You are also playing as them as a mech, but you are also a commander of the whole mercenary squad that you're rolling around with.
What?
I know, it's crazy. So this mercenary squad you're rolling around with, you're taking contracts, you're scrappy, you're trying to get like good contacts, you're on the outer edge of space, and some people come back and they're like, oh man, we really like your work, and they come and they talk to you, and they're like, oh, we're gonna make you do like better contracts because the ship you bought to do all the mech work is called Leopard. It's a very big ship. It holds all the mechs.
Okay.
Is very expensive, and the entire banks own it. Like all the banks own it, and they're
So what is like? There's a weird dystopian future thing.
Yeah,
going on
they explain it with like very quickly in cutscenes. Basically, the story is this is way in the future when people have left Earth and they've gone and colonized multiple planets.
Okay.
And it was a great time of prosperity and peace, but that has fallen apart, and now the people who are keeping the peace are a lot of people in mechs, but now that corporation or whatever has fallen, the one that created all the mechs, so now everyone is kind of like,
now it's just like all the mechs that exist are all the mechs that will ever
exactly
exist.
And like if you break down a mech, it's like it breaks down, you take the parts for salvage, you build other mechs with it, like it's all kind of like pieced together, and there's no new mechs, they're all like crappy mechs that have been put together and hobbled together. Anyway, so then your story is you were once kind of like a mercenary freelance for this hired guard for this small royalty of this major system to take over, and this lady's going in for her coronation to become queen, but then oh no, trouble happens and she's assassinated. She's not really assassinated, she comes back later in the game and helps you, but she's assassinated, and like trouble comes and her evil uncle takes over and rules the galaxy and is a bad person. And then you are just a mercenary in the system.
It's not a galaxy though, right? It's just like this one section of space.
It's a big section of space, but yeah, it's but anyway, they don't like her or him. So now she's like, hey, I need to come back and take my throne because I'm the rightful owner. I didn't actually die. This is just propaganda news footage that you showed that I died. That's the story of the game. So the gameplay is you do your missions, you come back, you get your money, you pick some salvage up from the battlefield, and you stick it on your mechs, you repair your mechs, you spend payroll, you have to pay everyone, they're all mercenaries, they all need to get paychecks.
Okay.
So you pay them off that, you gotta fix your ship, you gotta do a bunch of things. It's a lot of like trying to keep yourself afloat. It reminds me very much of Firefly, how they're just kind of like going from job to job, doing their own thing, trying to stay afloat. On top of that, you have these missions to do, and the missions just come up with little things like, this is how hard this mission is going to be. You can negotiate if you want more scrap, or if you want more money, or if you pay a little bit, you can get higher rep with that faction, which is a cool little mechanic.
Okay, so it's like trade-offs.
It's like,
Yeah,
so
it's like a bunch
it's
of
like your
trade-offs.
mercenary crew negotiating your fee.
Exactly. You're like, okay, you know what? We'll do this for free, and they'll be like, oh, cool. Well, we really like you. Then we'll hope to do more jobs with you later on, sort of thing. And then you get into actual gameplay. When you land, you get 4 mechs every time. You stick pilots inside each of these mechs. Each pilots have their own skills, their own level up trees, or skill trees, and they have the mechs, which you can customize like crazy. Like you have these different types of classes. You have light, medium, heavy, and then like assault, which is the biggest one. I haven't even seen assault yet. They're so big apparently. But they all have hard points, so it's like this mech can have a whole bunch of long-range missile launchers. But if you stack it up full of guns, like there's a lot of customizability. You can stack this mech up with like just tons of guns everywhere. But then you'd sacrifice not putting jump jets on it, which means it can't jump and it moves really slow.
Gotcha.
You'd sacrifice armor, which means it'll only take a couple hits and it'll be taking structural damage, which can, once you get to structural damage after going through armor, your mech just starts falling apart. Like, it's just, arms will fall off.
Right.
Your pilot might get shot in the head and killed.
Oh my god.
Like, bad stuff can happen.
And that's like permanent damage to the mech too. Like after that mission is over, right?
Almost every time after a mission, you have to repair your mechs. Like, there's only sometimes it comes across unscathed, and that's only when it penetrates just the armor. As soon as it starts hitting the structure, you're like, okay, I gotta repair this before I send it off again. So anyway, the game itself is, I think what helped me a lot of kind of understanding how this game worked is realizing this is based off a board game that they basically turned into a video game with all the video game trappings of a narrative and random scenarios and things like that. But the gameplay itself is very much a board game where you have a open grid, like a miniatures board game, not like, oh man, this is like
yeah, basically like they've done that, and then like instead of rolling dice and calculating,
they do all that stuff,
just doing all that for you,
which is awesome, and takes away, like, because those miniature games always look kind of cool, but like just the fact of like even playing X-Wings miniatures, we're like, man, this takes a long time to set up, you know.
And
and that's like one of those like miniatures for babies.
Yeah,
exactly. X-Wing is like you know,
Babby's miniatures,
a hardcore miniatures game.
Yeah.
Even though it's great, but like, yeah.
So anyway, the next thing you're gonna do is have like all these. You see all these points, and you basically have to run. You have like a sprint option, a move option. You can move and then fire. You can sprint and not fire, but then you get more evasion tokens on you. So if you run, the farther you run, the more evasion tokens you have. And with those evasion tokens, you're able to every time someone shoots at you, it's a much harder chance to hit you. But every time they shoot at you, they remove an evasion token.
Okay.
So you want to try to move as much as you can, but that kind of makes it tough, you know. You kind of get like this whole like issue of I'm never in a great placement because all of your guns have optimal range because you're always trying to run as fast as you can. So even if you have a fast mech, you're like running around behind them and trying to shoot them in the back. That stuff's always just so tough.
Right.
That is what kind of the challenge of it. So it's not so much just like XCOM where you're like hiding behind cover. It's more like a. You want to say something, Ricardo?
I'm saying, like, what's the ramp up to difficulty? What's the ramp up for difficulty for one thing, and two, like, are there different difficulty settings at the very start? It's just
one
game?
level. It's just one level, I think. But the ramp up's not too bad. Like, they have priority missions that you can do, which will promote, like, kind of like, oh, I unlocked. Now you find your first heavy mech. It's like, oh, that's crazy. What you'll actually see is probably much smaller things. Like, oh, you could just do all these like small missions and kind of get your gear up, get your scrap up to actually go and face these people in the priority mission. But you could just do those over and over again. There's no real penalty to not doing them. But anyway, let me tell you, the one thing that's really weird about this game is how it's very much like a ton of dice rolls. Like, like, you know how in XCOM you have that one fire? You hit the fire button, it's like, oh, like 67% chance to hit. Yeah, 66%. Hope I get it. This is like you look down your list, and you, depending on every weapon you shoot, you have a chance to be like, okay, I'm going to shoot this weapon or I'm not. And that weapon, if I shoot it, it'll either A, use ammo, or B, add to a bunch of heat, which I have to dissipate later and wait to use later. That gives you a big chance to be like, okay, that's 60%. This is all 80%. I'm going to use all my heat charges that I have, and it's going to have an 80% chance of hitting on like 6 different weapons. You fire it, man, that thing could just explode instantly. It's amazing. And it's like, whoa, all those things hit and it did so much damage. Or all of them can miss. You just feel like an asshole.
Because
like
you just wasted
yep.
a bunch of stuff.
And that's the same with like you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to get in this nice spot. All right, cool. Okay, this is fine. I have evasion. I have guard. It's going to be very hard for them to really take me out of my mech. All of a sudden, like, they just shoot all their weapons, and they take down all your evasion, and you just sit there and you're like, oh, crap. And then they just have one good hit, where with all their weapons, they just hit you like heck.
And you're just blowed up.
Yeah, and it's just like, you just die. Your character just dies.
And then you escape out of the game, and then you close it on the desktop, and then you go and you do something else.
Luckily, I've mostly been like, I've been just going back. I've been save scumming a bit in this game, which I'm okay with.
What?
I know.
Wow, no true gamer.
I know.
I always say I'm not going to do it in games, and then there's usually gets to like one or two situations.
Well, like
where
my character was kind of low on health, and I was like, they'll probably be okay.
Not have this happen to me right now.
They're not gonna die, and then they just get freaking murked. Like they just murdered, and I'm just like, oh well, I could have ejected them, or I could just restart the game and just let it go. The game is really good though. I was surprised at how much I liked it, despite it's kind of like everyone says, kind of complicated. It's very rough around the edges. There's not much animation. Although there's like 3D models of characters, but they don't animate that much. There's like very basic texts and stuff like that that just kind of show up. There's basic text. There's basic like what do you call it? What's that thing called?
UI.
UI. The UI is fine. I'm thinking the cutscenes. The cutscenes are just basically portraits, and it's just like I don't know. It's very low budget, but it still works. It works for me. It works for me in a lot of ways, despite its kind of low budget aesthetics. But yeah, I really am surprised by how much I like this game. I thought it would be a little bit too intimidating for me, but it's honestly not that bad.
You played Factorio, so I didn't think it'd be too intimidating for you.
Factoria's easy. Factorio has a very slow ramp up. This is like, here's the stuff.
Get in on it.
Do you know what a PCM is? And the thing is, they always put the hardest part is probably figuring out the initials for everything, even though it kind of makes sense. LM is light missiles.
Gun? Oh no. Okay.
Oh, actually, it is light machine gun. You're right. And then they have medium laser, large laser. There's another one. Shoot. LRM or LMR, which is light missile launcher, some LML or something like that. I don't know. Light missile launchers on there, or close range missile launcher or something like that. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Anyway,
I got some questions from the chat.
Yeah, chat is getting blown up with questions for the first
none
time
ever. None of these related to Battletech, but
that's
still.
fine. Battletech is good. I think I've talked enough about it. It's really good. Go get it, guys. If you like mechs, you can also punch mechs. Smash people are laying down. It's great. Anyway,
is it in the Steam Summer Sale? Because that was.
I don't think it's on the Steam Summer Sale.
I'm not buying anything from the Steam Summer Sale this time to answer the real Monica. Yes, I'm actually very excited for the sandbox in Fortnite, just to actually learn various mechanics of the game that I haven't gotten a chance to learn, because when you're dropped into a match, you can't really be worrying about like, okay, how do I edit like this build?
That was my biggest problem playing that competitively. Of like, oh, what button is the build? Let me press the button for. And
like, I know how to build all right, but like I'm watching streams and stuff, and I'm seeing high level players like edit structures on the fly and doing all this crazy stuff, and I just want to like get better at that and not have to be in a match to do that. So I'm excited for this sandbox mode. People are saying it should be just a mode that's always in the game, which I agree with. I don't know why this is only a limited time.
Is it a rotating mode?
Yeah, it's a limited time.
They like their rotating events, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ethan and I ran into some trouble with that when we played Sea of Thieves the other night.
Oh yeah.
We were like, I was out of the country and you were doing E3 stuff, and then it's like we were busy. It's like, all right, let's do that shark thing that everyone was doing. It's like, oh, that's over now. It's not.
No,
they're not doing that anymore. They're doing a new thing, which is cool. The new thing is neat. But
was that Thrones thing you were talking about?
Yeah, there's like a Thrones thing that's going on. But yes, Steam Summer Sale, quick things. I probably might get Hellblade. And Slay the Spire is also, I heard, very good, and I really want to get that game. As far as the two things I'm kind of eyeing on Steam Summer Sale, but also I'm like, man, I got that price there on Battletech. Woo, it's good. $10 for Battletech, good price, but I'd pay more for it.
Yeah, I got the email that was like 25 things on your wish list are on the sale.
And
Sale.
you just know that means there's a sale going on.
And it's just, I'm just like, no.
I also have not bought anything, but I am seeing a game right here. It's called Pastry Lovers.
I mean, that's just us.
In kanji text, and it has a bunch of anime girls on it. So I'm thinking I know what I'm gonna get for.
You know, Matt, he's got his Steam curator all set up for all the animes.
The real Monica really wants to know
what's the meaning of life.
What's the meaning of life? And at risk of diverging this podcast off of its intended course of video games as the true meaning of life, what do you guys think?
Well, I thought we were just gonna say video games.
I mean, it's like anime girls.
So that's why anime girls and video games.
I tend to go with the quote from Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, which is try and be nice to people, avoid eating fat, read a good book every now and then, get some walking in, and try to live together in peace and harmony with people of all creeds and nations. And finally, here's some completely gratuitous pictures of penises to annoy the censors and to hopefully spark some sort of controversy, which it seems is the only way these days to get jaded, video-sated public off their fucking asses and back into the sodding cinema. Family entertainment? Bollocks.
Which is why every episode of the podcast ends with a bunch of pictures of penises, right?
I mean, that's that's for the Patreon.
That's for subscribers.
That's not for anything here on Twitch.
Yeah. Subscribe to our secret Snapchats, and we'll get you those guys.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just what you want to do that, and if we could make some money off of that, we probably would. Maybe not.
I definitely can't. Anyway,
I was literally gonna say that exact same.
We all have our talents.
Well, I mean, you guys got back into Sea of Thieves. I mean,
yeah.
Are you just? I mean, yes, that's right, Real Monica. That's also a line from Spinal Tap. Viv Savage says, "Have a good time all the time." That's my philosophy.
Okay.
Or in the words of the Saint Andrew WK, party.
Party hard. But so is there anything like, obviously there's these new events, there's these new like weekly or monthly events that they're doing in Sea of Thieves. Is there anything else that you guys can see that
drum? They added a drum.
Oh, there's
and a new
drum.
song and a new song you can play.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a new song, a drum.
And it's, you know what? It's a jam.
It's actually really good. It's
real
song.
good. It's a jam.
They just were holding back.
Yeah, they're holding back. There's also a new ability to have like a little microphone that you can like put up and like yell at people and be like, and it'll project your voice farther, so you can be like, "Hey, we're friendly. Hey, we're friendly."
Wait, but like, is that you saying that, or is that your
no,
like
you actually project your actual voice saying that?
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah. There's all like weird things. They're like, "Oh, that's cool. That's a neat little thing." Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
did you guys get like griefed at all?
So what we did is that I think the cool thing that really separated this play session from other ones for us that kind of made me go like, "Oh man, this is something else. Like this is something special." Is we went to one of those skulls. They all had these like cloud skull areas, and what they are.
Which is in the game before. That was
in
not
the game before.
Yeah.
But like I guess we never engaged with it. It's just something we never bothered with. But it's basically like these fortresses that you go in, and you sail in with your crew, and other people are all trying to get there because all the loot is worth like a ton of money. Like it's worth the most in the game, I think. And so it's just a bunch of pirates trying to all fight for this one thing. So we were trying to chase
across the entire map.
Yeah, we drove across the entire map.
Storm.
We almost thought we made it alone, but there was another people with a shooter there, and we chased them around for a good half hour maybe.
It was a while.
At them, and then we eventually you know what? Let's stop. Let's just try to go on the island trying to get it. And we stopped, and then they stopped right behind us and started shooting us in the back. And there was nothing we could do.
They knew what they were doing. We were very.
Oh my god, we gotta make it go as fast as we can. So we try to. We lower our sails as fast as we can. We raise the anchor and we run straight to the island. And just go, oh! And then Matt's at the bottom just going, I need more help down here. There's so much water. And I'm like, we're on land.
Because I didn't know that we ran into the island.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm trying to.
There's like 6 holes in the bottom of the ship, and I'm like, why is no one helping me? I'm the only one down here. and Ethan's steering the boat.
I'm trying to get it off the island.
I think that's the real value in Sea
And
of
that
Thieves
was-
right
Yeah,
there.
that's the Sea of Thieves
that was
experience.
fun. Like that was the thing.
You
is,
know
like,
what? You know what else was fun? It was just griefing the other people that sunk our ship because we were still alive after that. Like, if we respawned our ship, it would have been really far away. But there was only 2 of them in their boat, and there was 4 of us, and so we were just hanging out on the island, which they had taken the key from the pirate captain on the skull. So they could get the treasure, but they had to get back on the island and unlock the door with the key to get the treasure. So we just hung out on the island, and they kept trying to send this one dude on every time, and we just kept killing him. So we were just not letting him get their treasure after sinking our ship. Ethan died, got our ship on, respawned on our ship, and started sailing. Sailing all the way across the ocean to like get back to me and Fallon, who were fighting this dude repeatedly as he kept respawning. It ends on an anticlimactic note of that they eventually just like were like F it and left and
you repelled them.
Yeah, they'll
probably
probably
came
come.
back later.
They probably came back later. Then we were like, it's late. We should stop. But I won't play that game again because there's all these cool quests. The current I'm not sure how often they're changing these out, but the current quest is like to find these 10 skull thrones and then sit in them. And then like half of those you have to have other crews working with you to do. So it like at least encourages some cooperation level to get that to work. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing about that game is it really playing it again after not going to it for like 3 months. It really showcases the appeal of like, oh, there's no progression. Like we can just go in and we can all have fun.
Like, oh,
Yeah, I mean I feel like that's a double-edged sword because on the one hand it's like, what are you really working towards? But on the other hand, it is a situation where your friends can play it as much as they want, and then you can just jump back in, and it's like everybody's still kind of at the same level, you know?
Yeah, it's really not a downside because all the fun moments in that game are from just dumb shit happening and not from, oh yeah, I got this sick, more powerful gun that like shoots these lame skeletons slightly better. Like
that makes it enjoyable. Like that game is really janky in a lot of ways. Like we kept getting stuck in things, and it would just teleport you back to the ship whenever you got too stuck. It's things like that where it's like that's kind of what makes this game fun is its weird janky sandbox. And the more goals they give you, like the throne thing where we had to actually like stick ourselves into a cannon to launch ourselves up to like this point to sit on this dumb throne. Like that was fun figuring that out, even though in the end we had to look up a guide to figure it out. But even then, like I was like, oh, that's clever. Like that's cool. Let's all like line up the boat the right way and get the cannons
once we figured that one out, I feel
like
we can start getting some other ones.
Yeah, it's fun.
Garage Mode TV asks Skull and Bones versus Sea of Thieves. Which one has more content?
Well, that's an easy one. Sea of Thieves because Skull and Bones isn't out yet.
Yeah, exactly. Skull and Bones
right
also,
now,
from what I played at E3,
that's like apples and oranges to me.
Yeah,
like I feel like
they're
they're just
totally
different
games.
kinds of games. I mean,
Skull and Bones also, we haven't seen anything
sounds-
about like how the actual game
Yeah.
itself works,
We've
the
only
meta
seen
game.
There's
I
like
guess.
loot in that game though. You definitely do level up. It does have progression in that you got guns plus.
But it
one
also
or
is
whatever,
a
like,
situation where it looks like every single player is going to have their own boat.
I feel like that is a better game to play single player.
you're
while Sea of
not
Thieves
gonna
is better
be
to play.
working together on the
multiplayer.
same ship with multiplayer.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, although that
multiplayer's-
game is like the Skull and Bones is definitely a multiplayer game.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
but not with friends necessarily. You
Yeah.
can probably join with randos more easily in that game.
absolutely.
I also think that Skull and Bones will just be more sustainable single player. I think it has like probably will have a robust single player next to Sea of Thieves
Really?
is, like,
I see, because the original showed that off as a 5v5 game, and then they showed the next thing they showed off was a PvE game. So like
don't
with
know.
with
Yeah,
the
you
game
could
with
be right.
multiplayer.
No clue.
Who
So-
knows?
I mean, it
Not
might,
out.
but I feel like it's a game you can matchmake way more easily than other games. But then like Sea of Thieves, I would not want to matchmake. I'd rather want to go
That doesn't
on
sound
like a
fun.
duo ship with Amber, or I would want to
Have
go
the
on a
whole
full crew with you guys,
together to tap
but
the
not.
drum
I
and
would
play
never
the new
want to be
song.
like, what rando wants to join? But
Anyway,
Sea of Thieves still fun.
yeah, I think it's interesting how I was talking to Ricardo earlier about this. Is how they keep putting new like a whole huge content map, and it doesn't look like you're gonna have to pay for any of it. was like, how are they gonna make money? How are they gonna make money with all these expansions and things like that? Like,
They're gonna have to release a paid expansion or free to play, stuff that you could.
Well, I mean,
like,
I was
buy
also
gold.
I was also liking it, although they have things you can pay for in Monster Hunter. All the Monster Hunter updates, the actual like content that affects gameplay and stuff have all been free so far.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is gonna be one of those two things, and I think it's more likely to be the free to play thing because I don't think they're gonna want to split the user base when you have an online game.
Yeah.
When you have a game that's by default online, you don't want to make it that half people have one version and half people have another version.
I mean, obviously, I think Destiny is still doing fairly well, but I think that it ran into the same problems as the first one in that it's as soon as you release paid expansions, it's.
I was gonna say like Battlefield
difficult.
now has not been doing paid expansion, or is not gonna do paid expansions for its next one. Like it's just gonna be all in the same.
And is there gonna be wall running?
No.
No.
That's Call of Duty.
That's Call of
Battlefield's
Duty.
never done it. Don't say that.
I just really briefly ran through because of E3 just happening. Fallout 76 looks pretty cool. I decided to, and I found out apparently
Does it?
yeah, I think it looks pretty neat.
I just don't like Fallout, so.
See, like I like Fallout a lot more than the Elder Scrolls. So, apparently my brother had bought Fallout 4 before he moved out and left his system at my parents' house or with my little brother, and so he had it, and it's like, so I was like, could I just play that? He's like, I don't care, you can play this if you want. And I was like, cool. So I just have Fallout 4
Cool.
now.
Physical copies. You just give games to each other.
So
It's
now I
crazy.
just have Fallout 4, and I decided to run through the intro. It is interesting how they try to really characterize your character. I guess there's a better way to say that, but like they really try to make your character more of a like a Commander Shepard sort of way, whereas like before in a lot of the other Elder Scrolls or pretty much all the other Elder Scrolls
just like a
or
blank
Fallout
slate.
games, you're just silent protagonist just standing there just not doing anything. Like you're interacting through text etc. But like your character's doesn't actually like display a personality other than anything you personally want to project. And in this game, you have a weird backstory starting out. I guess in Fallout 3 you did too, but like in Fallout 4, you're kind of like already have lived almost your entire life up to that point. Like you have a wife and a son, or I guess if you're a female character, and that's the thing is if you're a female character, you have to have a husband. If you're a male character, you have to have a wife, and you have a kid together. And then, you're just the bombs drop, you get in the vault, and the adventure pops off from there. I'm excited to see if this one hooks me like 3 did, because Fallout New Vegas honestly did not hook me.
It's funny because a lot of people really like Vegas more than most, and they say it's the best Fallout of the new series.
Yeah,
But I have not actually checked it.
but that's about all I have to say about Fallout 4.
I went following summer games done quick. No, if not.
I never.
I
did.
know I almost I can't believe I forgot it was happening, and I just completely.
Matt,
It's been a week.
Matt, you seem like you're more of the enthusiast of that. I never.
I
have,
love it.
I
love
follow
Summer Games
it, and
Done
I kind of like see that it's going on, but I never actually sit down and watch any of it because honestly, it's just not that interesting to me.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. You definitely gotta like. I don't just watch the stream, all day or whatever.
Whatever they're playing, you follow stuff that you're interested in.
Yeah, exactly. I look at their schedule and I go, what games are cool? And
I've seen this game.
they've already done some cool games. Like they did Banjo-Tooie, one of my favorite games on Nintendo 64 on Sunday. So that's also what I do is I go back to the Twitch archive and like go to that timestamp and watch that, and that's pretty fun. And then I look at the schedule for what's upcoming. So tomorrow, Wednesday, Skyward Sword will be going on at midnight tonight. Everyone's
favorite Zelda.
Yeah.
The Batman Returns game for SNES.
Oh, I guess it's not rotoscope. It's like they kind of does like MK graphics, like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, is that Batman
Oh
Returns?
no, that's Batman
That's
Forever.
Batman Forever. That's
Yeah.
Batman Forever.
Batman Returns. I don't
actually
know
don't know
if
what
I
Batman
know that
Returns
one.
is
Can't
in terms of
I mean, it's the movie with the Penguin. Michael
Penguin.
Metal Gear
Penguin.
Solid Twin Snakes
Okay.
is expected to take 10 minutes apparently.
Wow.
I guess
There
they
must be some
just
sort
skipped
of-
the cutscenes.
Oh no, that's setup length. That's setup length. My
That's
bad.
just gameplay.
I was gonna
That's
say
setup length.
if you cut out, if you cut out the cutscenes,
An
I'll
hour
believe
and
it.
12 minutes is how long it's supposed to take.
All right.
Just all the cutscenes.
Today was Metroid Day. Ah. Yeah, it was that would have been a nice distraction. I should have had it open during work today because work was terrible and Twitter was a reflection of our terrible world that we're living in right now. And I
So let's
probably
go to
shouldn't
the
have
Twitch
been.
chat.
Yeah. Cuphead. Ooh, Cuphead tomorrow night, 8 p.m.
Oh, that's
You know
gonna be
what?
cool,
I'm gonna
actually.
definitely watch that. That's gonna be awesome.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Super Mario 3D
I wonder
Land.
if they do the
Super Mario
glitch
3D,
rated.
3D Land will be tomorrow night at 6:40 p.m.
Question for me: have I dabbled with the Cody update for Street Fighter V? I have not touched Street Fighter V in the past
I love how you two are both entered to compete in a tournament for that game.
I've been playing Street Fighter V.
I have not.
He hasn't, but
No, I've
he's
been goofing.
gonna forfeit.
I might forfeit or I might just try in again. I don't know. I might dabble in again, see how it goes.
I have played with the Cody update, but I am playing Zangief. I'm not playing Cody, so I don't know. So. Matt says here you played some of The Last of Us Remastered again.
Oh
maybe some of
yeah,
that
I
E3
forgot about that. So, Twitter wasn't like especially bad itself in terms of like Twitter being terrible. It was just more that the world was terrible today. So I was reminded about it constantly on Twitter.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta walk away, man.
Yes, those two are both entered for Evo.
Yes.
I am not. I'm gonna go watch them get their butts kicked and drink a lot.
And then we'll drink a lot as well.
And then we'll all drink a lot after that. Let's see. I was like, yes, E3 is coming up. I never finished The Last of Us, much to Ethan's constant reminding me about how I should have finished The Last of Us.
Never did either.
I know.
And I was like, I have The Last of Us Remastered. I got it with our PS4. So, you know what? We had all these trailers at E3. Let me go ahead and play this game that I heard is so great. And I play it for about 2 hours. I got exactly to the point that I last left off in the game. And I'm like, you know what? I think I just do not like The Last of Us.
Man.
Because, like, everything about the story is legit interesting. Everything about the gameplay is, I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate the forced stealth for the stupid clickers. I hate losing the shivs once you use them. I hate, like, having to, like, creep around corners and then, like, I'm totally behind a corner, but he's not sticking to the corner, so it somehow pokes out, and now the guy sees me, and now everyone's shooting at me, and I only have, like, 6 shots in my gun, and and the shooting is weird because I'm not used to playing shooters with the controller. And
play it on easy, man.
I did. It's on easy. I died like so many times.
Oh,
I'm not enjoying it.
Play it on easy and pretend it's on hard.
I'm bad at the game, but I'm also not enjoying the game.
That sucks, man. That game is really good, but I won't disagree. I don't think the gameplay is my favorite
It
part.
also has aged, control-wise at least. I'm not saying like its story, but it has aged. Like its controls are weird, and the cover doesn't work super like how you'd expect cover to work in games. Like, hey, I mean, Mass Effect 2 came out before this game. Like that game had decent cover. Like this I don't know.
Yeah, all right, you're right. No, I won't disagree with you. I think
I could not get into it either, but that's also because I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood. I think when I was playing it, and there's also a degree where I was like, this is gonna get scary at some point. And I don't like scary games.
It doesn't really get scary. I don't think it gets scary.
It's not. It's never. Yeah, I was never really.
This is going to get scary.
It doesn't get scary. It doesn't get scary. It's super. That game was really good. It's just. I mean, I
I
understand.
believe you. It's just. I just like. Yeah, like every time it's like, all right, and now we're gotta go do a thing before the next story thing is gonna happen. I'm just like, ah. I'm gonna have to like go through 20 different rooms and fight like 3 different fights to just to have the next
just to watch the story. Yeah, all right. Fair.
So
What should we talk
The
about?
Shadow of the Colossus remaster. I haven't played that. Have you, Ethan? You know that?
I've not played the Shadow.
Have
of the
not
Colossus
played the remaster.
I have the first remaster they did, which is the PS3 version of it. I have that one.
The one that comes with Eco.
It does. It comes with Shadow of the Colossus and Eco.
Yeah, I've not played the remaster. I kind of want to, but I'm also kind of like, I already played that game. Like, if it comes on sale for like $10, I might pick it up.
I mean, it is like, isn't it like 20? I thought it was like 20.
It's gone on sale for 20.
2010.
Anyway. Should we go on to the news? I think
hey
it's all the
guys,
games we've been playing.
Here's one thing that you can't miss at Summer Games Done Quick. On Friday at noon, Goof Troop.
Oh.
Yes, that's actually
Goof Troop speed run.
a fantastic. Is it going to be 2 players? 1 player.
Co-op.
Co-op.
Just co-op.
Yeah.
24 minutes. 24 minutes. Don't miss it. You got half an hour.
Good
lunch break.
job. Anyway, the news. Shall we get
The
to
news.
The news. Here's something relevant to me and Ethan. They updated Pokemon Go again.
Will you accept my gift?
I did.
I know you did.
I just did already. I haven't given you anything because I have no data right now, so I can't do things in
That's a
Pokemon
shame.
Go. So Pokemon Go dropped the latest update where they're like, hey, you know what's a weird thing that we haven't added yet? Social elements into
Yeah.
this game.
Like social elements like normal games
Yeah,
have.
like an integrated friends list and stuff
Yeah.
where they never had before. Like always before it was like, sure, people are at a gym and you're trying to beat the guy or whatever.
But
you
no,
know,
like,
you talk to your friends, you're like, hey, are you playing?
That was the social. The social element was going to the park and watching everybody stare at their phones.
Yeah, that was
That's
crazy.
Like, wow.
Uh,
This is playing.
But now you have an integrated friends list. You can visit Pokestops and get gifts and then gift those gifts to your friends and increase your friendship level,
and increase your friendship level allows you to
Friendship.
trade Pokemon
which is the other new thing.
at a cheaper Stardust level. Because obviously there's going to be some restriction in trading Pokemon. They can't just give you like, here's all the Pokemon for my Lobby friend. It's like, no, you have to trade Pokemon, and it does cost them some sort of Stardust penalty.
Yeah, they were showing some pretty ridiculous amounts
I
for
think it's like legendaries.
for legendaries, yeah.
fair,
Which
makes
I mean,
sense.
yeah, that
They're
makes sense. But
legendaries.
still, it's like, man, they always have to have some kind of wall, don't
Yeah,
they?
of course.
It's always some wall that needs busting down. And well, I have technically an unlimited data plan through T-Mobile, but technically, so that I will never be charged overage fees for it, and I can use
do
the
throttle you.
very slow throttled network indefinitely. But I have a limited amount of high-speed data each month, which over the last few months I lowered it because I'm like, I need to save some money. So it's now at like 2 gigs a month.
Oh, that's rough.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that
and
is
I
rough.
got to like the 20th this month and then ran out.
Yeah, I have 5, and I don't run over that very often. But I understand
Yeah,
where
I
you're
used
coming
to have the next step up, which I think was either 5 or
from. I
6,
think
and
5's
it
probably the
was
next bump up.
it was fine. But then I was like, you know what?
When
this
they
is too
throttle
much
it though,
money.
you're like, it's just throttled data. It's like, no, that basically means you just access like messaging apps. And that's
Yeah.
it. And, like,
I just
nothing else.
switched to having my work pay for my phone, so I have unlimited data now.
Well,
See,
that's nice.
I was thinking about like bringing that up again because at one point they brought that up, and I was like, I don't want my work like having control of my phone. I want to be able to be
I was like
flexible
that at
and do
first,
whatever I
too.
want with my
And
phone.
then I was
but
like,
now I'm
I
like,
could save
oh,
$60 a month.
Maybe I do that. No, but I think once I finally pay off the phone, because I'm on a payment plan for the phone, I think then maybe I'll bump it back up. But for now, I'm working with not so much.
But fun thing about Pokemon Go is our new trading system is every time you get like every time you get a gift from someone, it's like, hey, you got a gift.
Yeah.
Why don't you open up that Pokemon Go app and see what you got? And it's actually like good stuff. It's
Yeah,
like, here's a bunch
it
of
is.
Ultra Balls. Here's
Yeah,
a bunch of,
I was surprised.
Like it's almost like a whole Pokestop almost.
Yeah.
That you give to someone. You can do it once a day to each friend, and then each time you get your. I think it's like if you keep interacting with your friend for 30 days or 90 days total, you get the highest level of friendship, which is nice. You can be friends forever.
The highest level of friendship.
Yeah, the highest level. It's a good update. It feels like something that need to be there. Between that and the field research stuff, it's like,
That's
okay, you
neat.
guys are making some actually pretty
It's
substantial updates.
more of a game now.
Yeah, it's funny how like that all happened in the last like 6 months or so. Like it's not been very
Also,
long.
how funny the game managed to stay relevant without actually being much of a game
I know.
up to that point. Speaking of not much of a game up to this point, Tetsuya Nomura said in an interview with, I
yeah.
believe this is, what is it, an Italian?
Italian website,
An
multiplayer.
Italian website that, like, he said, yeah, we probably announced it too early, but actually he says, this is an actual quote from him. This is Polygon quoting. Tetsuya Nomura is director of Final Fantasy over at Square. He said, I am well aware of the fact that we announced it too early. But even in the industry, word was beginning to spread that we were working on the game, so we just decided not to keep it more secret and officially reveal it. So that's why, and then Polygon goes on to say, so that's why we saw it in 2015. If nothing else, Square Enix gave a launch date for Nomura's other project, even longer in development, Kingdom Hearts 3. Nomura told The Verge that development on both it and Final Fantasy VII Remake are being developed in parallel, meaning Final Fantasy VII Remake is out of the concept stages. So
Concept stage. Oh no.
Concept stages.
Yeah.
Wait, the game is already fully made. You don't need to concept. What do you need to
But
conceptualize?
no, they're remaking it though. It's not just like they're bumping up the graphics; they're remaking the game. It's like that Resident Evil 2.
They're not just opening. They're not just opening Final Fantasy dock and going
graphics
upgrade,
enhance. They're not doing that. They're remaking the game like the Resident Evil 2 remake that Capcom's making.
This is the thing. Tetsuya Nomura, I feel like, needs to not be in charge of Final Fantasy.
Well, he said that like they
I don't
revealed
like-
Kingdom Hearts 3 at 2013 E3, which is like, well, that's like.
No.
eons
This
ago.
has nothing to do. This has nothing really to do with. I'm gonna develop the conversation. This has nothing to do with the remake or the delays. This is more to do with, like, I don't like that guy's aesthetic. I don't like that guy's like stories or characters or anything.
You think it? You think
He got
you should
Norded.
Yeah.
Aqua got Norded.
No. What does that mean? Those are just words.
Oh, hey, it's him. He's so funny. Look, you're entitled to your opinion. It's bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Are you joking?
No,
though?
honestly.
Wait.
Well, here's the thing.
Which is your favorite Final Fantasy character of recent games? Don't say Lightning, because it's using the title of the game. Yeah, that's right. You can't remember because they don't. They're all
Noctis,
garbage.
Gladio, Prompto, Ignis, the boys. The boys.
What's the lady's name?
Cindy.
Okay. I tried to get you. Do you like Cindy?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she's got a nice southern accent.
Alright.
Nice lady.
Yeah, no, but I understand. Like, honestly, I wish there was a little bit more variety in
Those games
the
have,
Final
like, no
Fantasy,
variety, yeah.
the Final Fantasy
like
aesthetic.
navel-gazing young adults with giant hair and like buckles over every part of their clothing.
Give me that.
And great, we've got 10 games.
Put
that
it
have
in
been-
my Disney.
2007, 2004.
Yeah. They're still making them though. People want it.
Yeah, hey man, people like them. I have a friend who really likes Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and hey, good for you. I think Kingdom Hearts is a cool idea. I think that it is way
I
down.
think it
Wow.
started as a
Bullshit.
great idea. It's just
Yeah.
now at this point incomprehensible.
What? You don't want to play 6 games, but play 6.5 games or whatever?
I
Play
also
Over 6.5 over 3 games.
You're right. All right, let's talk about this new Mario Kart 8 Deluxe patch.
guys, you can now play Mario Kart 8 with everyone's favorite Nintendo LABO. They've patched in new controls so that
can you
you
use
can
the piano?
utilize your Nintendo LABO, the motorcycle
Oh,
controller.
That doesn't make sense.
That's pretty cool. There's actually a trailer that's not in trailer trash, but it's
It's 30 seconds of them showing off somebody playing.
yeah. So I'm playing.
I believe them.
They put the switch in the between the handlebars, and you turn left and right. It looks
Yeah.
pretty cool. Looks pretty
Remember
cool.
those controllers for the Mario Kart on Wii that
Yeah.
you put the
They
Wii
still have those for
remote in
Switch.
and you go,
They have those for Switch.
what?
Yeah, they still make them.
No.
Yeah,
They were awful.
they were awful. I
Oh,
have.
so
I
be it.
have one.
The funny
Um,
thing, the funny thing is always how
Labo's neat, but it seems like it didn't really go anywhere.
It's just not for us, I think, though. Like, I think.
I mean,
yeah, see,
I'd be like totally down with it. I just don't really want to spend $80 right now. But I would be down. Like I like building Lego. Like I like building stuff.
Would you be enticed to buy?
The building part would be the cool thing.
A Nintendo Labo if you could win a dope. That's the next one. You were on it. You were on it.
This one's great. This next one's great.
Win a dope cardboard themed Nintendo Switch system.
That Switch looks really cool.
That Switch looks fucking awesome.
It looks great.
Dude, this Switch looks amazing. What is this?
Amazing,
I've never seen
isn't
this.
it?
So the Nintendo.
No, I saw it this morning or this afternoon. I can't remember what it was.
So this is quoted by GameSpot. This is on GameSpot.com. Nintendo is offering a Labo themed prizes for the company's upcoming Creators Contest beginning on July 19th and continuing through August 20th. Some of the prizes are collectible Nintendo Switch accessories with custom cardboard paint designs. So there are 2 categories in this Creators Contest. There is Best Toy-Con Musical Instrument and Best Gaming Experience using the Toy-Con Garage. So the first asks for musical instruments created with the Toy-Con Garage, where the instrument already exists or comes from the contestant's imagination. Woo! The latter accepts games created in Toy-Con Garage that display both quality and creativity, whatever the hell that means. Regardless of which category you choose, Nintendo asks entrants to submit a YouTube video, their creation, in action to enter the contest. If you've previously submitted creation to past Creators Contests, you can resubmit it into this one if you want. So there's like a dope Labo track jacket you can win. You can win a frame certificate signed by Nintendo that's like, hey, we recognize your dope thing. Or what everybody wants, that sweet Nintendo Switch with the cardboard
so
design.
good.
It looks really cool.
I would never. I'm not creative enough at all to be able to win that, but
not in that sort of way.
Looks so good.
At this point, I think they are getting to the point where it is like they realize the audience for Labo and who they need to encourage.
It's a very specific audio,
and who they're gonna like continue to encourage, like to make things with Labo, and then and that's it. Is this the last story that I put on there?
Yeah, this is the last story.
Is kind of it's kind of an interesting one. So Luigi's Balloon World mode in Super Mario Odyssey allows you to see, top scores of, people that have been playing that mode.
Sounds great.
It sounds great, except that people are currently hacking their Nintendo Switch profile pictures to porn images, and those images, because they are technically the image that represents the player score, are showing up in Super Mario Odyssey's Luigi Balloon World mode. So there's porn on Switch right now.
On a kid's game too, not just like anything. It's
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked up. It's just like it's such a weird thing that it's just like, oh, this is what we'll spend our time on. We're gonna try to do this.
Yeah, I guess it is a software called Dev Menu that Switch hackers are using.
Yeah, they got somebody managed to buy a developer Switch.
Yeah.
Which then they posted the dev stuff.
And people sometimes they do that and they do good things with it, and then other times people do that and they pirate games and or to find out a way for porn to be put in.
Something you didn't mention on this news article.
Yeah.
Nintendo's been banning people who pirate or have been launching pirated used games.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do that.
Don't do it.
Why? Pirates just dig up buried treasure.
Yeah, pirates just get treasure and hang out and kill people. It's fine.
I mean, that last one's a little messed up.
Yeah. That last one's a little.
That one's a little. Yeah.
Little
Anyway,
suspect.
I think that's all the news. It's been slow since the end of E3.
E3
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
The
right?
E3 explosion. It's been it hasn't been as long between our podcast episodes, so
Yeah, that's
been
true.
surprisingly fewer people being outwardly shitty, at least publicly.
That's outwardly, yeah.
Wait, are you sure? Maybe you've been following.
I
oh,
mean,
you mean the video game
in the
world.
game industry, Notch doesn't count.
Whoa.
So
Got him.
yeah.
Has
So
JonTron
that's
just not
me.
said anything recently? Is that what you're talking about?
I try not to think about JonTron anymore, unfortunately.
Well, moving on to. I can't think of anything funny to say. Trailer trash.
Trailer trash, dang old Pixar player, get it done.
It's that time of the show where we watch a trailer and then we talk about them and then we say which one was the best trailer.
The best trailer that we watched. It's a great it's a great segment. So first of
This
all,
first trailer was definitely not the best trailer.
you know what we were just talking about was that fantastic current trend game Pokemon Go, and everybody wants a piece of that Pokemon Go.
Including Garfield.
So now we're gonna have the walk. You know what else is current and totally not on the decline is The Walking Dead.
Jeez.
And
The TV
so
show.
Hey, if you went to E3, you'd see zombies everywhere. They always got the zombie actors, and they go.
there was that new game that they announced that,
Get that-
everyone who previewed it said was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, it's not good.
So
What was it's made by the same Starbreeze? Is that the ones
I
whoever
don't
made
think it
whoever
is
made Payday
Starbreeze.
whoever made Payday 2?
it's Starbreeze.
So Starbreeze didn't make Payday 2, but I think they bought it.
Starbreeze.
They now run it now, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Starbreeze
but anyway.
Starbreeze made the Syndicate, which everyone seemed
Yes,
to like.
they made
Not
the
Syndicate.
Darkness. They made the Chronicles of Riddick games. That was Starbreeze. That became a large number of that team became Machine Games, which now does the Wolfenstein games.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I will say in this trailer that if someone was taking pictures of me and doing the
I'm
weird
just confused, like,
faces
what
this guy was
He's
doing,
just
I'd be
doing,
really
he's just
creeped
doing
out.
AR like garbage with like
He's
Yeah,
like,
he's like shooting zombies.
is
and
it
taking
like is the
pictures next
concept
to-
that like they're like take a picture of us and he's
yeah,
just
and
playing
he's
the
like,
game?
okay, get over there, now move this way. Oh, it's great, beautiful shot,
mean,
and then no, do a different
And
pose.
then it becomes that walk
just
animation.
walking animation from Norman Reedus is like my favorite
Walk
thing.
is so great.
It's like it's funny because you see him. The last place I saw him was Death Stranding, right? And he has the exact same hair and everything, and then which is beautifully animated and like super well motion captured. You got this goofy ass Norman Reedus who's walking like a robot. Like he's got a stick up his butt and can't like bend over. Man, it's rough. It's rough
You're
looking.
right.
All right, let's move on. Next trailer.
I think that's a good
can't-
chance of being the top.
Yeah, totally.
The Crew 2.
The Crew 2.
The Wild Road, I guess, is the sub
Um,
title to this one.
Ricardo, you had an interesting point when you were watching this trailer.
I was like, I don't actually think I know what the Crew 1 was, what that game was. And then you guys followed and talked more about it. And I still was like, nope, that doesn't ring a bell at all to me.
You drive across the country of America and you visit cool spots.
Country of America?
The country. What? There's other countries. I gotta be. I can't.
No,
be
but like America? Do you mean the United States of America?
Oh yeah. Yeah. that's a
How many
good
people
point.
How many people could there be in that country?
Not a
like
lot.
100.
There's
It's,
got to be like 50.
it's North America. All right. It's not North America. It's just the United States.
Yeah.
So the United States of America. You drive around it and you get different boats.
And this game is like all about being like extreme, and you gotta like. I don't think there's like a plot in this game as much as it's just like be the best
Well, because you guys try to explain what the
person, like
plot
activity,
to the
like
first one was, and I was
sports
like,
guy.
that sounds dumb.
It has a bad plot, and it was a bad game apparently, according to most people that played it. The idea of like drive around this mini version of America was kind of cool because it was like one continuous map. It wasn't like load into this city. It was just like
that's a cool idea.
drive, and then you're in a new. You know, it took you like 5 minutes to get to the next city. It wasn't like a realistic thing, but it was kind of a fun idea. This
Yeah.
one seems like it's got more things going for it, but all the things that I heard out of E3 was just like, yeah,
Yeah,
seems
all right.
like more crew.
Yeah.
And the first one didn't exactly blow anybody's socks off. So
Yeah, Garage Mode says that there's open beta and it's really buggy with pop-ins. So,
And that sounds like a bummer. That's hard in
and
racing games because
yeah.
if you get pop-ins, it's like, oh, it's a train.
which hey, they'll fix it by the time. Oh wait, it's coming out on the 29th. They're not gonna fix it.
yeah, it's like
I
not
mean,
a real beta.
To be fair,
That's
most
the
betas
beta
they
of
release. Yeah,
demo.
that's true. But most betas they release an older version too, so maybe they'll
That's
fix
true.
that. But still, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the trailers decent enough. I like the fact that they drove to Los Angeles and then just drove right past it because it's like nobody wants to see the traffic. Like
I mean,
stopped
it's
in
not a
traffic.
realistic version of the U.S., so don't worry, there won't be traffic.
What are you talking about? I saw Vegas and I was like, yeah,
It's like GTA 5 does not have any traffic. Like it has cars in it, but not like traffic.
Yeah, it's not a real good
It's
version
not
of
like
LA. It'd be like
so the
unfun.
Crew 2.
Yeah, it looks fine. Whatever. I don't
more
know.
like
I wish I wanted. I like that. I want to like that game more, but I don't think it's for me. But you know what? Game I wish Ricardo liked more. Not really. I don't care what you think.
Thanks, man.
Not in that way.
you know which game I wish you liked? Just kidding. I hate things that you like.
The Last of Us. No.
The Last of Us. Is that what this game is related to? The Last
I mean,
of Us?
That game is
It's got a not great father and a kid, so it's probably like the Last.
That's probably The Last of Us.
No,
No, Life is Strange. This is within the Life is Strange universe. This is The
Dude.
Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is out now.
yeah.
it's out now for free.
Uplifting and pure, according to IGN.
Honestly, this trailer looks almost exactly like the one we saw at E3.
Yeah, it
very
did
similar.
look the same. But I'm still want to play this game. I like
it's free.
I like Life is Strange. Ethan liked Life is Strange.
I couldn't do it.
And
do
this
it.
game looks different, Ricardo. So it's not the same thing.
I mean, I guess I could deal with a kid being dumb than I could these
Teenagers being
those
dumb.
other kids were kids. They were just teenagers.
I don't know.
At least you're not a poser.
No, there was honestly one point. Now, granted, I had been drinking when I played the first episode.
Okay.
But there was one point towards the end where somebody said something, and I just went, "Ha ha, fuck you."
Yeah, this game looks cool. I want to play this thing. It's like an hour and a half long, 2 hours long, or something like that. So I'm totally down to play it. It's free.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
free. I mean, that gives me a better chance
Just
of
drink
checking
at it
out.
and then go.
Just drink at it.
Fuck you.
Drinking at you. Yeah, this trailer didn't sell me any more than the one that from E3 because it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. It's fine.
Arcade Islands Volume
Oh,
1.
man.
This game looks amazing.
I couldn't wait.
Like a game from Newgrounds.
No, it looks like multiple
2006.
games from Newgrounds. What is there to say about this game?
I
There's
don't
balloon
have
fight
much.
right in it. That's something.
Fusion Frenzy.
You can take over the
It's
planet.
just a lot. There's a lot of games in here, and they all look kind of.
There's a
mediocre.
picture finder. Frogger 2D.
Also,
Wait,
what we can
Joe,
say about this is that the music for it, which you can't hear right now,
Is the worst.
is
like the most.
the most generic. Like
They
I have a
ripped
free
the-
song that I got from the royalty-free music website.
They
It's
ripped the
first
water,
one I found.
the watermark timestamps out of there.
Watermark.
Well, like with the guy going like, Music Coat Productions. Like, you know, when you're doing
Yeah,
the thing
yeah.
that you have to pay for.
Yep.
Although they probably actually got one that was just free that you didn't even have to
Yeah,
pay for.
Exactly. I don't think you pay money for this.
It was like
Just gotta credit the person.
Can maybe play a little bit here on stream for those
Oh
folks.
God, we're gonna get banned.
I don't think they're gonna come after us for royalties. Yeah, there it is.
It's never the company that like our Abzu one got pulled by Toon something. I don't remember what it was.
Some random
Like
company.
yeah.
All right, enough of that. So let's go to the next game.
Yeah,
Rainbow Skies.
this game is very confusing to me.
Man.
At any given point, I'm like, that looks interesting, and then that looks like garbage.
And then you
It
immediately
is
have
the
to.
most mixed bag of things I've seen in a while. Like looks like Advance Wars. This looks like Bastion. This looks like a straight up Texas
This looks
game.
like garbage.
This looks like
This looks like a bad Final Fantasy ripoff.
And I'm gonna lean
Hey,
towards.
you don't want Tetsuya Nomura doing Final Fantasy anymore? This guy, he did Rainbow Skies.
It looks great. There's hundreds of interiors. I think it's my favorite part is the advertisements
Hundreds
of
of
it's
interiors.
they have tons of devastating battle skills, which is fine. That's okay. That's a cool thing to put up with your stuff.
And saying tons is like yeah, whatever. yeah,
Dozens of loot filled dungeons. I think they're
Dozens.
just running out of like big numbers to throw at things. They're like, I don't know.
Well, they probably couldn't say hundreds because they'd be disingenuous.
No, but
'cause
but
there's
don't
probably
say that.
nothing
Just say like
Also fishing.
detailed dungeon, like detailed loot-filled dungeons. I don't know, like don't say the number. It doesn't matter how many of them there are. They need to be good.
Yeah, I mean
Lottery. There's one that just says lottery.
Yeah. I mean, what can
It
you
looks
say?
like a mobile game that is, but it's not. At the end, it comes out on like PS3, PS4, and Vita, I think, or something like that. So it's not a mobile game.
Monster breeding. That's like the thing is that the things you can do in this game just continue to go on, including being able to play it in Italian, which I'm excited to.
The thing that annoys me the most is the part where the currency is called like rainbow currency or whatever, but it just looks like gold coins. So why is it called rainbow currency? Why isn't it rainbow card? Why is it?
I don't know.
The whole thing doesn't make sense.
Why is this game on PS3?
I reject it.
Why are games on PS3 still being released?
Yeah, that's a good question. It won't be answered. Shall we go on to
The
our
last trailer.
This game is called Salaryman Escape. It is a PSVR game, and
This looks kind of right.
this looks alright.
This game looks neat.
I
Like it's got like a Captain Toad's treasure tracker feel, but with like a kind of physicsy vibe,
Yeah,
and with a probably more depressing,
yeah, I like the office aesthetic.
the kind of black, the kind of not monochrome, but like the kind of like very plain flat colors of just like you're this terrible boring office building.
Yeah,
So you gotta
I like
get
the
that coffee.
innovation quotes, all that stuff.
yeah.
It
Stop
looks
clock
pretty
is right
fun.
twice a day.
It looks. I almost feels a little too basic for me in some ways. Like it needs a little bit more style.
Yeah, I
but
mean, it looks like
not
it's
bad.
It's banking on the novelty of the moving it around sort of
It's-
thing.
Yeah, but it's still got a kind of a cool like I like the screen in the background with the text
yeah.
and
I'm digging it.
It would look better in actual VR, I bet probably. Like it would look kind of cool. I'm actually kind of interested in this game. It's too bad I think it might only be on
this
PSVR.
game, I don't actually have a PSVR, but like it looks cool. So, I like the bosses that like the managers that have night helmets on for some reason.
Yeah, why not?
Scary.
Yeah,
All right, fellas. What wins this week's trailer trash?
It's a pretty
Trailer
weak,
trash.
a pretty
Pretty
weak.
trashy trash. Like even the best trailer, which might have been Awesome Adventures Captain
I mean,
Sphere,
I
is like
think
a recap.
I think the Crew 2 is like the best produced.
Oh,
one.
totally.
I think that
But, I mean,
Salaryman Escape is my favorite
gonna
trailer.
Salaryman
though.
Escape.
I think that's my favorite.
And I
one
think
as
at the end of the
well.
year when we watch all these, we're gonna be like, why did we pick this?
And we'll be like, it was a bad week.
It was a very bad week. This is a bad.
But it is still more interesting than the rest of that stuff. So
Yeah.
All right, it wins this week's trailer trash. Congrats,
it
Salaryman Escape.
wins.
You are the
Congrats
best
for
this
your.
week.
Please contact us for your prize.
Indeed. Oasis
Your
Games.
prize. Your prize is to have Ethan call you and be like, "Hey, good job."
Hey, nice job, guys. I hope your game does well. Then I hang up.
And they're
We're
like,
gonna watch it.
"What's
We'll watch
that?"
it later, and we'll see if it actually was good or not.
We'll look at your Metascore later, and talk about it.
Yeah, but you won't hear that
I won't
part.
play it.
And you won't hear that part on the podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking of the podcast,
Speaking of the podcast, that's the end of the podcast
over.
forever.
It's over. That's it. Forever.
Just for this week.
forever for today.
Yeah, I got you.
Ah, you got me.
All right. Well, you know what, guys? Thank you, those of us who watched on Twitch and participated with questions.
Yeah, this
please
is the
return.
most active our chat's ever been. It
Don't
was
say that, Ricardo. We're always a lively.
what
it's
is
always a
it?
lively bunch over here.
Yeah, what are you
Please
talking?
follow
It was
us.
actually a slow night for us.
Yeah,
tonight.
seriously, man. Normally it's like bumping, so you should come back every week and check us out.
We usually stream on Thursday night. Today was an
Thursday night is
exception.
our usual night. Yeah. So Tuesday is a special night this week.
But where else can people find us, though?
Yeah, we have a website. It's pixellegends.com with one L. And this podcast is also on iTunes. If you prefer to listen to things instead of watch them, you can go to iTunes or go to your podcast app, search for Pixel Legends. We're on there. And go ahead and give us a subscribe. We have a Twitter account, Pixel_Legends, where we post all of our live streams and the podcast and all that stuff when they go live. If anybody's streaming stuff, we'll tweet it out from there. So go ahead and check us out there, and we will go ahead and say thank you if we see your name. That'd be
Indeed.
nice.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
everybody. We'll see you next week with more trailers, more trash, and more garbage out of our mouths. Thank you very much.
That's what you come here for us. It's our brand.
My brain.